the perfect quintessential Tom Brady game. I want you to think about this for a second. Was he the best quarterback on the field based upon his production? Not really. Was the other team or were the Patriots really well prepared, really well coached? The answer is yes. They got a rookie quarterback. They're still working through a complete new roster. And it felt like, considering if you lined up the Buccaneers and you lined up the Patriots and you said, hey, pick your first 10 guys, 8 of them would be Buccaneers. And yet, Pats had a chance with a 56-yard field goal to win the game, or at least have the lead with 50-some-odd seconds to go in the game. They had plenty of opportunities. But a Tom Brady game in New England does not necessarily depend upon if Tom Brady outplays the other quarterback. It doesn't depend on if Tom Brady beats you deep. It doesn't depend on the weather. If it's bad, even better. The weather's bad. The performance wasn't great. The game was sort of choppy. A lot of penalties for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would even say that the Patriots were probably the better overall team yesterday. And Mac Jones played a little bit better than Tom Brady. But you know what happened at the end of the game? Damn it. He won again. I can't really explain it. I mean, I could explain it. There are some little things. It felt like the Patriots fell in love with the pass, and then they get down to the red area, and Mac Jones looked a little skittish, and they should have run it. Instead, they kicked a field goal. That would have put them up at, 6 late? And then on the last drive, yeah, I do think that 4th and 3, 56-yard field goal. I know Nick Folk had been rolling, making field goals, and he clearly had enough leg for it. But, man, that is a long, long kick when you only have 4th and 3. And generally, Belichick is a go-for-it guy. Now, look, Mac Jones looked a little overwhelmed at times, got a little confused, and he was probably just thinking. And, look, on 3rd and 3, they had a running back wide open over the middle. It just the ball got batted down. But whatever the reason, he wanted to take the ball out of his rookie quarterback's hands and put it into the foot of Nick Folk. That game felt like a Tom Brady game. Was he the better quarterback? Not really. Was he on the better team? Maybe not. Did they find a way? They did. And that's the story of Tom Brady's career. He's been the league's leading passer, but he's also been a guy who early in his career and then late in his career, at times, both teams have played around his skill set. And won with him, but a little bit in spite of him. Here's Tom Brady with Michelle Tafoya after the game on not tearing up.
I'm not tearing up. I already went through all that, so I had enough emotion the last week. I'm kind of happy, we got the game and we won.
Here's Bill Belichick. He had this exchange with a reporter.
You coached Tom Brady in practice for 20 years, but this is the first time you went ahead against him in a game. What was the experience like going?
We went against Tom Brady every day in practice defensively. So it's not like we've never seen Tom Brady before.
Was the experience of coaching against him in a game any different?
Yeah, they're a good football team. He's a great quarterback. I think that's all goes without saying.
Tom Brady said this about his relationship with Belichick.
We've had a personal relationship, for 20 plus years. So he drafted me here, and I've had a lot of personal conversations that should remain that way, and they're very private. And I would say so much is made of our relationship. And, as I said earlier this week, from a player standpoint, you just expect the coach to give you everything he's got. And I'm sure as a player, that's what he was hoping from me. But nothing's really accurate that I ever see. Definitely doesn't come from my personal feelings or beliefs. And I have a lot of respect for him as a coach, and obviously a lot of respect for this organization and all the different people here that try to make it successful.
Bill Belichick said this on his local Boston hit this morning.
Do you think that the media, the fans, everybody else is just blowing this relationship out of proportion?
I don't know what everybody else thinks. I know what my relationship is with Tom, and it's been a great one for over 20 years.
Yeah, and apparently Belichick went in the locker room, talked with Brady for like 20 minutes afterwards. It did feel like they want to get their story straight a little bit. Let's just say great things about each other. Let's, let the pettiness die. Does it feel like that to anybody else? It sure as heck does to me. But I thought that was like, he takes off his helmet and damn, he looks like a Greek god. Like, wait, did he just play a football game? Isn't it raining out there? Why does his hair look so good? What's going on? Football is supposed to be this grimy game where guys are, their limbs are mangled. And Tom Brady takes off his helmet in a rainstorm in New England, and he looks like he just hopped out of a shower like he's ready to cut an ad. Tom Brady wasn't the better quarterback. There wasn't any wow performance. There's a couple of good throws. There were some misfires there. There were some times in which Mac Jones looked like he was completely prepared for what they were doing, even though he has 20 years less experience than Tom Brady does. And yet, Tom Brady's team found a way to win. This is my argument. Rob Parker co-hosts The Odd Couple every day. He always calls Brady the luckiest quarterback of all time, the LOAT, if you will. But at some point, you got to go like, hey, you don't get to 10 Super Bowls. You don't win 7 of them. You don't win all of these games unless there's something to how you do what you do and how everybody feeds off of it. Last night was the quintessential Tom Brady game. Aaron Rodgers has always had more arm and foot talent than Tom Brady. Peyton Manning probably had a better processing brain. Brett Favre had a better arm and a little tougher. Contact didn't bother him the way it bothers Brady. Joe Montana moved better. Steve Young definitely escaped and moved better. Like, go back through all of the great quarterbacks of our lifetime, and we could sit there and go, like, Dan Marino's release was quicker. Yes, Tom Brady gets rid of the ball super quick and has a quick release, but nobody was Dan Marino. Dan Marino just never had the supporting cast, never had the defense that Tom Brady had. And yet, Tom Brady's teams win more than all of those guys combined. I don't know exactly what it is. I can guess, and I can tell you secondhand, I don't really know what the secret sauce is. Thousand Island. But it feels like Tom Brady has the one recipe that everybody wants.